My darlings, gather round, because the British media has entered Olympic-level delusion mode again. And this time, they're dragging Princess Kate into their imaginary soap opera. Apparently, according to sources who somehow speak more than Kate herself ever has, the Princess of Wales is secretly begging Prince Harry to come to the UK alone, without Meghan, without his wife, without the mother of his children. Yes, we've reached peak fairy tale fan fiction. Let's dismantle this circus. It's not a fairy tale, but a soap opera designed to divide, not unite. The headlines are crafted to stir emotion, to keep us watching, reading and reacting. These stories pit brother against brother, wife against husband, and the public against strangers. They create sides where there needn't be any, encouraging us to judge rather than understand. But if we look closely, we can see the strings. The performance is not real life. There are those who benefit from keeping us distracted, from turning real people into characters in a never-ending play. The media shows us only the conflict, never the quiet moments of understanding. We rarely see the gentle conversations, the shared laughter, or the silent support that exists behind closed doors. We are wiser than that. We know there's always more beneath the surface. Like the depths of a still pond, the truth is often hidden, waiting for those patient enough to look for it. Let's venture into these wild headlines and search for something truer. Let's question what we're told and seek out the stories that aren't shouted from the rooftops. It's not about taking sides, but about understanding the media's ecosystem. We must recognize how stories are shaped and why certain narratives are pushed to the forefront. The truth is often quiet, not demanding attention. It waits for us in the stillness, in the moments when we choose to listen rather than react. We must listen carefully to find it. It takes patience and a willingness to look past the obvious, to hear what is truly being said. And when we do, we'll see it speaks of love, strength, and resilience. These are the stories worth holding on to, the ones that remind us of our shared humanity. Let's not buy a ticket to the show. Let's seek the real story. Let's choose to step away from the spectacle and look for meaning in the quieter moments. The truth is worth finding. It is there, waiting for us, if only we have the courage to look beyond the noise. The latest headline claims the Princess of Wales invited Prince Harry back to the UK, alone, without Meghan. It's a story crafted for drama, not truth. Why would Kate, known for her composure and family values, make such a divisive request? And why would Harry, who's built a life with Meghan, even consider it? This narrative paints Harry as a pawn and Meghan as a villain, but it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. The real purpose is to create a fantasy of a broken Harry, lost without his royal roots. It's a soap opera, not reality. Happy families don't sell papers, conflict does. So the media invents drama, no matter how illogical. Let's not mistake fiction for fact. This story about Kate's supposed invitation isn't just a one-off headline or a fleeting rumour. It's actually just the latest example in a long, well-established pattern that's played out for years. The British media has consistently cast Meghan as an outsider, a scapegoat, and someone who simply doesn't belong. She's blamed for everything, from Harry's personal choices to the most trivial details about royal life, no matter how small. Whenever the idea of reconciliation is brought up, Meghan is almost always painted as the main obstacle, the one standing in the way. It's a calculated tactic: create a villain, control the narrative, and keep the public focused on a single target. Meghan's difference, her background, her independence, her willingness to speak out, made her an easy target for this cycle. Repeating a falsehood over and over doesn't make it true. It just makes it louder and harder to ignore. The "Meghan is the problem" story is always the loudest, but it's rarely the most honest or the most accurate. This pattern persists because it generates outrage, keeps people talking, and ultimately drives profit for the media. The more Meghan is vilified, the more the cycle continues, feeding itself with every new headline. It's a sad, relentless game with real human costs, emotional pain, isolation, and lasting damage. And all the while, it distracts from the real issues within the royal family and the institution itself, issues that desperately need attention. Now, let's take a closer look at the Princess of Wales. The tabloids often cast her as a meddler, but her public life consistently shows grace, poise, and remarkable discretion. She's always supported the monarchy, presenting a sense of stability and unity. Creating a rift would go against everything she stands for and believes in. Her rare interactions with Harry have shown her as a peacemaker, never a troublemaker. The idea she's orchestrating secret plots is pure fiction, fueled by rumours. Kate's strength is her consistency. She wouldn't risk it all for tabloid drama. The media casts Prince William as the angry, unforgiving brother. Real family rifts are complex, but the headlines exaggerate his anger into caricature. This serves the story, a clear antagonist to Harry's protagonist. Anger sells, but the reality is likely more nuanced. William is busy with his own duties and family. The angry prince is a media creation, not the real man. He's focused on stability and the future, not endless feuds. Let's not confuse headlines with reality. Meghan is often portrayed as either controlled or controlling, but both narratives erase her agency. Her decisions, like whether to return to the UK, are hers and Harry's alone. She's built a new life, prioritising her family's peace. The media ignores the hostility she faced, making her reluctance to return seem suspicious. Her choice is self-preservation, not malice. Meghan is not a pawn. She's steering her own course. Setting boundaries is strength, not weakness. She's building a life on her own terms, far from the storm. Here's the real question. Who truly needs whom in this ongoing royal saga? It's a question that goes deeper than the headlines and the constant media chatter. The media often claims that Harry and Meghan are lost without the royal family, painting them as outsiders struggling for relevance. But if you look closer, the reality is quite the opposite. Harry and Meghan have built a global presence, using their voices to champion causes and create meaningful change. Their independence has only strengthened their influence. They don't need palaces or royal titles to make an impact. They've created their own platform, reaching millions around the world on their own terms. Meanwhile, the British media depends on Harry and Meghan for constant drama, headlines, and, ultimately, revenue. Their stories fuel the news cycle. Without Harry and Meghan, the royal narrative loses much of its spark and intrigue, leaving a noticeable void in the stories that captivate the public. The media needs them to keep the royal narrative alive, to keep readers engaged and viewers tuning in. So, don't be fooled by the constant noise and sensationalism. There's always more beneath the surface. Look past the headlines, and you'll see a couple who have chosen each other, building a purposeful and authentic life together despite the scrutiny. Their story is one of courage, resilience, and determination, not failure or defeat, as some would have you believe. Let's celebrate their truth, their journey, and not the fiction spun by others. Believe in the power of truth, love, and the strength of family bonds. Be well and be kind to one another, always.